My name is Chris, and for as long as I can remember, I've had an irrational fear of the dentist's chair. Every time I walked past the sterile white office building with its immaculate windows and that intimidating chair in each room, a shiver would run down my spine. The faint sound of the dentist's drill, the muffled screams of pain, and the palpable anxiety of the waiting patients did nothing to ease my dread. The mystery that lingered around that ominous place was what bothered me the most. I'd see people going in, hear the unmistakable whirring of the drill, but I could never recall seeing anyone leave. It was as though the chair in there held some secret, an insidious power that consumed those who dared to sit in it. And now, it was my turn. A throbbing pain in my molar had finally driven me to make an appointment. As I sat nervously in the waiting room, my palms were clammy, and my heart raced. The receptionist called my name, and I felt a wave of nausea wash over me. Dr. Harland, a tall, stern man with piercing eyes, welcomed me into the examination room. The dental chair awaited, its leather seat looking more like a torture device than anything designed for comfort. Dr. Harland's voice was professional, but his eyes held a hint of amusement as he assured me everything would be fine. I cautiously settled into the dreaded chair, my body rigid with tension. The bright overhead light cast a sterile, clinical glow over the room, making me feel like a specimen under a microscope. Dr. Harland began his work, his gloved hands wielding the drill with precision. The shrill whir of the machine filled the room, and I clenched the armrests until my knuckles turned white. Minutes felt like hours as I lay there, unable to move or escape. The pain was unbearable, and the agony of the procedure was indescribable. But what disturbed me more was the complete silence from the other side of the room. Dr. Harland worked diligently, but he hadn't spoken a word since the procedure began. I mustered the courage to ask, "Is it almost over?" Dr. Harland paused, his drill hanging in the air. He turned to me, a sinister smile on his face. "You know, we don't get many patients like you who are so observant." Confusion and fear flooded my mind. "What do you mean?" He continued. "You see, the chair has an appetite for those who fear it the most. It feeds on their anxiety, their dread, and their screams. Those who are the most afraid never leave." Before I could react, he swiftly covered my mouth with a damp, foul-smelling cloth, rendering me helpless. My heart raced as darkness closed in. As I lost consciousness, I felt myself sinking into the chair, its leather swallowing me whole. When I awoke, I was alone, lying on a deserted sidewalk outside the dental office. Dr. Harland was nowhere to be seen, and the once menacing building was now abandoned and decrepit. The twist was that the fear of the chair wasn't irrational. It wasn't just a dental chair. It was a malevolent entity that consumed the fear and dread of those who sat in it. Dr. Harland, the sinister dentist, was its accomplice, offering unwitting victims to the insatiable hunger of the chair.